Hey guys, hi. It is Wednesday, September 27th. You guys ready? Let's go. Let's go.
Sometimes I fall to my knees and pray. Come, Jesus, come. Let today be the day. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break, but I'm holding on.
Hey guys, welcome.
To a hope that won't fade. Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return.
Thank
To
you.
heal every hurt.
Thank you.
And right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around.
Come turn it around. Come turn it around. Come turn it around.
Deep down I know this world isn't home. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come.
Guys,
There'll be no war, and there'll be no change when Jesus comes. Let today be the day.
yes, yes.
He'll come for the weak and the strong just the same, and all will believe in the power of His name.
Yes, yes.
Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long.
You guys see me tearing, right?
For the day you return.
I'm not sad.
To heal every hurt.
It's beautiful.
Every wrong.
It's touching me.
We need you right now. Come and turn this around.
Come turn it around.
Deep down I know this world isn't home. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. One day you come,
Jesus, that's deep, guys.
and we'll stand face to face.
Whew.
Come and lay it all down.
Yes,
'Cause it might be today.
yes.
The time is right now.
Yes.
There's no need to wait. Your past will be washed by rivers of grace.
Thank you, Jesus.
Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long.
Father God, Father God.
For the day you return to heal every hurt.
Thank you, Jesus.
Right every wrong.
I'm such a big baby, right?
Need you right now.
Such a big baby.
Come and turn this around. Deep down I know this world isn't home. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come.
Guys, if you just joined, I'm not sad.
Come,
It's just so
Jesus,
beautiful, and
come.
I'm such a big baby. Mm. You guys, when I tell you music is good for the soul, whew, you guys, I don't know, I can't stop the tears sometimes. Like, and it's not, like, tears are not always tied to being sad. People need to understand that. I don't know what it is, right, with some people, right, when they see somebody crying, they get all awkward and weird about it. I have no control over this. I did not make this body. I think I told you guys earlier, I did a little skit while I was on my way out in my car. And I compared the body to like a car. Like, there are many systems in a car, right? And each system has its job to do. The body is like that. There is many different parts and systems and tied to the body, right? And each part has its job, right? When those tears right there were not tears of sadness. When I tell you guys I love music, right? And you see, like in my earlier videos, right? I told you guys, right? I can't do my black artist gospel singers when I'm doing these videos because it can get like real ugly. Like, I won't even know you guys are there. Like, I'll be on my hands and knees, bawling my eyes out. Sometimes when I used to go to church, right? And the pastor's up there doing the sermon, and the choir's in the background doing the music, and I used to feel it, and I used to tell myself, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Guys, when it comes to spiritual things, my soul, that connection to my higher power, when I tell you guys this stuff is deep rooted, right? It's deep. It's deep. So that was, I'm going to try to get his name right, Stephen McWhirter. So it's M as in Mary, C as in cat, W as in water, H as in hill, I as in ice cream, R as in Robert, T as in Thomas, E as in egg, R as in Robert. McWhirter, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that was Come Jesus Come. And in my earlier little clip that I did and put on Facebook letting you guys know about this show, right? Remember, the music was playing in the background and I was like, guys, listen, I might need to use that in my show. That's what that song was that was playing in my car radio. And I did not start crying in my car because I wasn't in tune. I'm in the car, I'm moving, I'm not focusing. But you sit there and play that song and focus on the words, cleansing for the soul. So anyway, guys, how you guys doing after my big announcement yesterday? Yeah. Advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness, tied to education. I'm in my 50s. I've been doing this a long time, right? And years ago, right, after I gave you guys that information, right, I wouldn't have been able to be up here on no show talking about it. You guys, I'm telling you, that mental health disease ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. It's nothing to play with. And the way I can understand when people associate the term of crazy with a mental health condition, right? Because they see some crazy stuff happening that they don't understand. But, again, breaking those myths and misinformation about mental health diseases, right? You can't let that stuff stay on you, okay? It's very important to educate yourself. And I'm gonna do some stuff, right? So, textbook wise, okay? So I've been doing a lot of, you know, sharing my journey, um, giving you the information that I have, right? But I am going to start putting up textbook stuff, guys, okay? So we're not just going off of my word, my experiences. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of information, and I'm going to start putting up some textbook stuff about, mental health awareness, mental health diseases, cause and effect. As far as I think I had touched on the genetic part, as far as whether or not these mental health diseases can be passed down. Okay. I'm going to put some stuff up about that textbook wise. So you guys kind of get both of it. You get the textbook stuff, and then you'll have me who has, experienced it. And I am still, unfortunately, there's no cure for my mental health disease. And like I said, in I think yesterday's video, I told you guys, like, Mom told me that her mother went crazy and passed away in a mental health institution, right? And even though I know there's some other things going on there, I never met my mother's mother. There had to be some other stuff going on, right? But then to witness my sister's disease and the progression of that. Now this is, I don't know if it's really sad or if it's emotional, because when I tell you guys that I was scared, right? I was scared. There was a point in my life, I told you, I went to the doctors and told them that I felt like I was losing my mind. I'm shaking it off, guys. It's emotional, when I started learning about the disease of the mental health aspect, right? And I started experiencing some signs and symptoms, and I had behaviors. And yeah, I was crazy then before I went on treatment. So I can understand why people might attach crazy to mental health diseases, right? But once you identify, acknowledge, and address, and you go on treatment, they're more crazy than I am. Anyway, where I was going with that, right? Like I said, Mom said her mom went crazy and died in a mental institution. And when I was younger and I heard the story, I didn't really make the connection, guys. I didn't really make the connection. I was just like, what kind of mess is that, right? But then, being my mother's daughter, right? You guys got to read my first book, God's Gift to You, book 1, right? You got to read it. I'm telling you, this stuff is deep, right? As my mother child, like I said, when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about this disease, and I was in it. I was like witnessing some stuff and experiencing some stuff and going through some stuff with my mother that I couldn't relate to and I couldn't identify and I couldn't understand, right? When it became real to me and evident to me was, like I said, I had my daughter when I was 20, and by the time my daughter was 3-4 years old, right, some stuff started happening. Right? And I probably, throughout my life was displaying some stuff, but because I wasn't aware, I didn't pay attention to a lot of things. But once I had my daughter, some things became evident, guys. It was bad, right? So now I had to identify, it's a process. I had to acknowledge, there are times when I was in denial, I was in fear, I was just like, nah. If you don't address that stuff, those symptoms, right, they start out mild. They may be frequent, in between episodes and then become more frequent. They go from like a level 1 of intensity to like whatever higher number you could come to. Okay, everybody is different. Yeah, I had to address my own mental health, right? And then, right, while addressing my mental health signs and symptoms and going through the stages of identify, acknowledge, address, becoming more aware, I started like reading and taking courses. Yeah, I was not playing, right? And through all that, right, light bulbs started going off in my head when it comes to my relationships with my mom and my sister, right? Like there was some stuff with my sister that as a young girl, I didn't know. I don't know. It just, like I said, once I got into it myself and had to do some work around, the signs and the symptoms and, I had to go in, right? So now light bulbs are going off, right? And I remember when it comes to walking beside my sister and watching her grow from childhood to adolescent to adult, right? I seen some stuff and I even though I didn't know back then, once I got into it myself and started learning and addressing my own mental health issues, I would have flashes of going through some stuff and witnessing some stuff with my sister and be like, dang, wow, there was some stuff I had to bring to my mother. So again, I'm going to start putting up the textbook stuff about it, okay? So you guys are not just going off of my word. So in today's show, right, I told you guys earlier when I did my little script, right, inviting you to come into my show. I told you guys that we're going to address some of the issues that I'm experiencing today and how it affects the mental health aspect of it, okay? It's deep, guys, and because I've been doing it for so long, like I have to give you guys this information because it's going to be a key factor for you when you are managing your mental health disease. Again, you might be in them early stages. There's a lot of things that you may be experiencing due to circumstances around your life, causing you to have some aspects of mental health things breaking through, right? The signs and the symptoms, right? How the cause and the effects, right? We're going to go through that stuff, okay? I myself am right now in the middle of that stuff in my life, and I want to give you some information. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time, so I can give you some key tips on how to deal with it if this is where you are, okay? For those who are attending my session for the first time, my name is Johnny Belinda Hopkins. I am the new published author of the book titled God's Gift to You. This is the hardcover. I do have it in paperback, and it's available through ebook as well. As you can see, this is book 1. When I tell you guys that I'm here to advocate for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education, right? It's not just about these sessions. Like, I have other stuff going on. This is book 1. Book 2 is already written. I just need to get this out there before I move on to getting book 2 published. I have publishing companies who are aware of the work that I'm doing. I had multiple publishing companies trying to get me to sign a contract with them regarding getting this book published. Like, this book went out to several publishing companies, guys, and they was on it. They was on me, right? They read it. They were astonished by it. And they were right away inquiring about my second book because, as you see, it says book one, right? So after they went through this book, I have publishing companies. Like, I've already told them I made my choice of who I'm going to sign with. And they was just like, well, based on how this goes with this publishing company, please keep us in mind when you get ready to publish that second book. Okay? And if I'm smiling, it's because, it's been overwhelming for me. Like, I wrote a book, right? I didn't think that it would get the responses that it has gotten, right? Because we don't see ourselves as a person of value to anyone. We don't see ourselves as, our messages and what we have to say being important to people. We kind of downplay that stuff, right? And this is proof. This is evidence. I'm here to show you guys, like, anything is possible, right? Even with the mental health condition, enough of that. That book can be purchased at DoransBookstore.com. It is also available on Amazon, okay? There's some things I have to do and address with Amazon because, right, I haven't been on the website in a while, you guys. I've been so busy, right? But I need to visit the Amazon website. I need to check in on some things. The last time I was on the website, the ebook was there, the hardcover was there, but the paperback was not showing up. I had to contact my publishing company, who had to contact Amazon, and they assured me that Amazon was having some technical issues with their website, and as soon as they fixed the glitches, the website would be updated showing the paperback as well, okay? I need to go back onto that website and make sure these things are happening. When you have your own business, right, there's nobody there that's going to do it for you. You got to be on top of your stuff, okay? For people who do not either have internet or access to technology things like iPhones or smartphones or computers, you can call Doranson Publishing Company at 1-800-788-7654 to order your copy, okay? For those who are interested, okay? And again, the books that I publish, right? I never talk about the stuff in that book, right? We're just going on where we are today. But if you are trying to identify some stuff in your life, the book it has stories, it has examples. I'm open, I'm honest, I don't hold back. So that is in the hopes that, like, when you read it, right, you might get some ideas of what's been going on with you and the things around you. You may be better able to identify that stuff going off of the information that I give you in my book. Again, even though I have all these things that I'm presenting to you, right, it's not about me. I'm advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. I'm trying to, jump in there and guide you, give you some information, lead you down your journey, giving you examples of the things that I've gone through. It's a lot of information. It's deep. It's intense. And again, for those who don't know, right, mental health diseases is a medical issue. It is a real medical issue, just like diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases. There is no cure. There is no cure. And it's a lot of work because, again, if you're not addressing that mental health stuff, like I said, I've walked beside some people from my journey as a young child, people who died at different stages of their life in early years, right? Like, You cannot play with a mental health disease, okay? You cannot play with it, okay? That's why I'm here. Like, if I can help people live just a little bit longer, change their perspective and their views regarding the causes and the effects of the mental health disease, you don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to be ashamed or embarrassed. Like, I denied myself treatment for a long time because there's some feelings that come with that stuff, right? I'm going to sip my coffee, guys. Anyway, that is not what tonight or today's session is about, right? I'm going to go over some things with you. I gave you guys some information regarding the circumstances surrounding my life. I'm going to walk you through some stuff just so that if you have a mental health disease, you're going to go through some stuff. You're going to experience some stuff, right? And they can cause you to react in ways that can be more harmful to you, okay? So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to step in there and guide you to address the mental health concerns and issues and stuff that's going on without you causing more harm to yourself, okay? So I gave you guys some information about a major change that took place in my life this week, right? Something that is so major, right? That, of course, the state of my mental health, right? It's going to be challenged, okay? It's going to be challenged. So I'm going to open up that aspect of my life with you guys. I told you guys, I'm good, bad, or indifferent. I'm gonna give it to you, okay? In the hopes that it can help you in your processes out there, okay? So the news that I gave you guys yesterday was that I lost my job after 5 years of service there, okay? There are things, right, that's going to happen in your life, right, that you have no control over. No control over. Okay? Certain things, right? Those big things, right, that happen unexpectedly. Like you didn't see it coming. You may have seen it coming. You tried to work really hard to avoid that event from happening. For people with mental health diseases, some of those things are not easy. It's not easy. You can have all the knowledge, you can have all the information, you could be doing your best to apply that stuff, but like I said, sometimes things happen, okay? Even people without mental health diseases lose jobs, right? But because of people that have the mental health aspect, they have the mental health aspect of, the mental health disease, right? We don't tend to view things through healthy eyes. We don't tend to respond to things in a healthy way. A lot of us may, if you have any aspect of anxiety and panic attacks, because I do, things can trigger those symptoms, right? They start coming out, right? We gotta identify, acknowledge, and address them, okay? And I'm gonna walk you through every step of it, okay? When we say identify, You have to take notice of what is taking place, those outside factors. We talked about it way back, right? You have to notice what's taking place around you as far as the changes in your circumstances, you know, those life events, right? You have to acknowledge, right? There could be a lot of things going on around you right now. Like things are changing, things are shifting. Like you've been in your comfort zone for some times. Like there's been a period of time where everything was stable around you. You know, everything was in place. Everything was locked in. You got real comfortable there, right? But now something shifts, right? And the cause and the effect of that shift, right? So there could be a lot of things going on around you, right? Again, cause and effect of what has taken place and the effect it may have on your circumstances, you know, because there are things, right? There are things, right? And it's got other stuff tied to it, right? So you have a system, right? You have a system in place, right? This is speaking metaphorically, okay? You have a system in place, right? And just like a car, just like your physical body, right? There's all these symptoms, there's all these parts and systems tied together, right? So when there's a shift in one part of it, right? It kind of sends it's like the throwing the rock up across the pond, skipping rock effect, right? Like something within that system shifts, right? And then it causes everything else to either shift or fall apart, right? So that's what I mean by there could be a lot of things going on around you, the cause and effects of what has taken place and the effect it may have on the rest of your circumstances that's tied to that event, right? If you don't understand what I'm saying, like just stay with me, okay? Again, you guys can leave me comments, you can leave me messages. I do check and respond to my messages, okay? We're gonna move on. When these things happen, right? Let me back it up. Let me back it up for a little bit, right? When I talk about identifying, right? Notice what is taking place, because a lot of times people go into denial. Like some things just go right over their head, right? They're not in tuned to events, right? They try to play it down, like, you know, you can't do that. You have to acknowledge what is taking place. You cannot go into denial, because the events that are going to start taking place, right? If you're in denial, these things are going to happen whether you're paying attention or not, right? You gotta tune in. You gotta identify, acknowledge, and then address it, right? The first thing I'm going to tell you, right? Take time to process your feelings, because there's going to be some feelings that arise, right? There's going to be some feelings that comes with these things that are changing in your life, right? And this stage is going to take some time. Like you're going to have to sit still. You're going to have to hold on, right? You want to try and sit still and hold on and focus so that you are responding appropriately and not reacting. Okay? We got to sit still. We got to hold on. Like there's things going. There's things going on around us. Like, it's a whole lot, right? And then we tend to like panic or, you know, sit still, guys. Now is not the time to make a move, right? You want to sit still. You want to give yourself time to process everything that's going on around you and all the feelings tied to it, right? And we're going to walk you through those feelings too. We're going to get there, okay? This stage could take some time, okay? It's okay. There is no rush. It's not a race. Allow yourself as much time as you need to process everything that is going to come with different stages, right? You got to sit still. You got to embrace it. Don't be scared. Don't run from it. Don't shut down. Don't go into denial. You have to embrace it. The good feelings, the bad feelings. Sit still, embrace it, right? Because there's things going on, right? It's got to go through the process. It's got to work itself out. It's got to start to slow down and settle down, right? But if you get up and move, right, a certain way, you're going to interrupt that process. It's going to take longer, okay? We need to sit still. Sometimes, right, we're in that go mood, right? I know for myself, like, when I get like that, like, I'm going to tell you, some time ago, right, it was difficult for me to sit still. It was difficult. And if you're, like, going, right, are you in tune to your higher power? Or are you, sitting here with your higher power, letting him help you get through these things, right? Instead of running to the friends, the family members, like, you need to take time. You need to draw close to your higher power. So again, take as much time as you need in this stage. It's no rush. Sit still, hold on, grab that pillow, lock it down. We're going to move on, okay? After the stage of processing what took place, right? Because whether it's a good thing, like it might be like we gotta get to that place where the reason why we're processing things, right, is you're gonna have some negative stuff about it. You're gonna have negative feelings about it. You could possibly see it in a negative way, not realizing that it's actually going to work in your benefit, right? It is a lot going on, right? We got to sit still. We got to give that time stuff to swim around us, right? It's got to swim around us. It's going to start to slow down, right? As time goes on, it's going to start to slow itself down, right? Just sit there. Let it do what it do, okay? Eventually, you're going to start to move into when the process has taken place, right? And it's ran its course, and it starts to do what it do. It starts to simmer down, right? Like there's some stuff that's going on. You can't do nothing about it. You can't make a move because you, like I said, you want to respond appropriately. You do not want to react. Eventually, you are going to cross over into the identify stage, acknowledging stage, and now you're going to move into getting into the stage of addressing some stuff. Not just the outside circumstances that happen. You need to address some of those feelings, like the stuff that's going on, the inside factors. Remember I told you guys before about the inside factors and then those outside factors. If you guys are just jumping in, you're going to have to go back, right? I'm going carefully, okay? Slowing my brain down. We're getting into the address stage, right? Now, I told you guys the change that happened, right? And even though it's up on YouTube, not all of my friends and family members watch my shows. You know, they might get bumped into some feelings. They may not want to, you know, like I said, when you have family members and loved ones, right, who do not really understand the mental health disease aspect of things, right? And they see you, you know, displaying these things, right? Some of them don't want to see it. They're in denial. They get bumped into feelings. And it's okay because these people have known you your whole life. They have loved you your whole life. They have cared for you your whole life. They have seen you go through some stuff that was concerning to them. Like, just because you identify, acknowledge, and address your mental health state of mind, and you get better with some things, right? Those people that watched you through this journey, right? You got to allow them their feelings. We're going to touch more on that later, okay? Moving on. And my purpose in saying that, right, is eventually I'm going to have to reveal things to close family members, friends, and loved ones, right? And I'm going to tell you guys, there is no pressure here. You do this in your own time. You do this when you're ready. And the reason why I say that, right, is because the cause and effect, right? Now you're going to give these people some key information about you, right? And these people may possibly react in a negative or positive way. We don't know which way it's going to go, right? And again, I'm telling you, when God gets in there and takes control, right? He just goes. Like, I've already said the stuff I written down here. You know, because when before I do these shows, right, I have to sit still with my higher power. Like I said, my brain goes so fast, right? I have to train my brain, right, to slow itself down in certain areas. And this comes with time. This comes with trial and error. You know, some of us, we're not there yet, right? But I can help you with that, right? I can help you with that. Yeah, I wrote this stuff down, you know, before I did my show. I had to write stuff down. I had to grab some of the information as my brain is like flying by with all the information. I have to pluck some stuff out. I have to write it down so that it is organized, right? Because I don't want it to be sloppy and all over the place. And I thought I was like gonna read it, right? But my higher power jumped in there. He's moving. So anyway, these people who are close to you, family members, parents, siblings, the children, right? They've been with you this whole journey, right? And they've seen the scary stuff. They've seen it, right? They see how you react to certain things in your life, the cause and the effect, right? So they are gonna be like, have their concerns. They're gonna get a little worried about you, right? They're gonna get a little weary because they don't know which way you're gonna go, right? And saying that, right? You have no control over what other people say, think, feel. You have to allow them the time they need to respond, react. They may go through feelings, anger, disappointment, because there's some things that people with a mental health condition go through that we have no control over, right? But you got these people, these outside factors, they're looking, they're judging, they're saying things, right? Because, again, in the beginning stages, right, of my journey, right, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand. So there's things that your loved ones, right, they don't understand. They don't know what's going on, right? But you don't know either. You don't know either, right? So there's feelings that come with that. Like I said, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment. I walked through all that stuff. I've worked on all that stuff, guys. And we're going to get you there, okay? Hopefully sooner in your life than I did in mine, because I didn't have the guidance, because a lot of people that were surrounding me, they were going through mental health concerns that went undetected. They didn't identify it. They didn't acknowledge it. They didn't address it, right? So here I am trying to get better, right? Who am I going to ask the questions to? Who's going to lead by example? Who's going to guide me through my process? These people that they don't know anything about a mental health disease, right? They're watching you go through some stuff, and they're responding inappropriately. They're angry. They're frustrated. They don't understand, right? So I had to learn, right, to separate myself. Let them feel what they feel. Let them do what they need to do. They're watching their loved one go through some stuff. They want to help. They don't know how. They're frustrated. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff, guys. You're going to have to learn to separate yourself, right? And let those loved ones process some stuff, process their feelings behind it. Process whatever comes with it, right? You can't let that stuff affect you, because we're already hard enough on ourselves, right? We're already hard enough on ourselves, right? We're going through stuff we don't understand. We're trying to get there. We're trying to understand it. We're trying to get familiar with it. It's a lot. And then you have to deal with the responses, right? Like, there was a time that I would let that stuff, it made it worse for me. You're going to have to grow into yourself. You're going to have to grow into your disease. You're going to have to trust yourself, right? You got to trust yourself no matter what they say. This is your process. This is your journey, right? This is you. It's happening to you. It's not happening. Well, in a way it is, because they're watching it and they probably got to pick up the pieces and clean up the mess, right? And depending on the severity of your disease and the level of education you have, right? Because the more you educate yourself, the more aware of some things you're going to be that you're experiencing, right? And this is just for me, right? As I stated, right, through my mental health disease, right, the early stages, I always kept a roof over my head because I had a new daughter. I can't have my daughter homeless, right? I always went to school. I would go to school to my courses, right? And on days that I didn't have class, I'd go in my daughter's school. I went to my daughter's school so much, right? Through so many years, right? She'll tell you this. I think by the time she got to like 2nd or 3rd grade, right? I don't know. Somewhere around there. She said to me one day, "Mommy, you can go home now." I was crushed. What? You sure? I spent a lot of time in my daughter's school. I would, even after she told me I could go home, right? I would still show up on her lunch periods, on her recess periods, right? I'd go by like subs for me and my daughter and go up to her school and sit in that cafeteria with her, right? And the teachers would put my daughter and I separate from the other children because, the children, they see another child's parent, at the school, bringing them lunch, sitting there having lunch with them, but, for me, it was about my relationship with my daughter. And by showing up and being present, right, in their schools, in their classes, you're leading by example. You're teaching them the importance of education, okay? You people got to get out there. You got to get into them schools. And I'm not saying, like middle school or high school. I'm talking about them early stages because it starts early, guys. What you instill in your kids, right? Through those elementary school years, right? It's gonna last. It's gonna guide them. It's gonna be with them. You got to start now. That's not what this is about. We're gonna go back to script. Again, be easy on yourself, guys. Be easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself down. Don't get into that, back yourself into that corner, right? And stay there. You can't do that, okay? Yes, sit down, kick your feet up, breathe, take a minute, read a book, listen to some music, don't tend to stay focused too long in certain areas. That's going to trigger you, okay? Now we're going to go over some of the signs and the symptoms, okay? Fear of the unknown. The stage of having panic attacks, right? You're having racing thoughts more frequently, more than usual. It's going, things is happening. The brain is like off and running, right? I don't know about anybody else, right? But when this happens for me, right? When my brain starts moving too fast, right? And I lose control. I have no control of it. It's just going. It's just doing what it does, right? I get scared and I start having shortness of breath, right? I mean, we've always had the shortness of breath, right? And I'm going to tell you, since I've been on treatment, right? I haven't had those stages of shortness of breath, right? But they can come at any time, depending on your circumstances, what's going on around you. You may start having shortness of breath more frequently, right? And I'm going to share something with you guys when it comes to shortness of breath because I'm in tune with myself all the time, right? Sometimes I would find myself holding my breath for a period of time, like totally not breathing, right? And because it would, something would click in my head, right? And tell me, Johnny, take a breath. Breathe. I don't know if anybody can relate to this stuff. I'm telling you guys, this is real. I would go a period of time where I found myself holding my breath, like not breathing. And I'd have to tell myself, Johnny, take a breath. We're not going to stay stuck there. We're going to go, okay? As I stated earlier when I was doing the clip in my car, letting you guys know about this show, right? You see me playing with my hair a lot, right? Sometimes when I'm recording my show, if I have jewelry on, you'll see me like, trembling hands, or maybe trembling. You're trembling, you're shaking, you're fidgeting more than usual. I pay attention to stuff that happens to me, guys. And you can get there. Like, this took years of practice, okay? Changing eating habits, right? You either have no appetite, a decreased appetite, or an increase in appetite, depending on your body, right? for me, that eating thing has been an issue for me for a long time. And I think I shared, if I tear up, guys, I don't like to remember certain things. You know, I can see why people, right, detach themselves. But I can't do that. I cannot detach. You got to face it. The only way you're going to get better, right? You have to look at that stuff. You cannot be scared to look at it. You cannot run from it. You know, you gotta tackle that stuff head on, right? So I had shared with you guys a period of time that I went days and weeks without eating. It was bad. And this was in my earlier years, okay? Even though I have addressed my mental health disease and I have read books and you know, research stuff, and just because you have the knowledge, right, doesn't mean these things don't happen. They're going to happen, right? But the more you educate yourself, right, when it does happen, it's kind of like your mind is in tune with your body, right? If things are happening and you don't know, you know, you can't identify, you can't acknowledge, you don't know, you're not attached to your you know, your mind is, sometimes your mind has a way of leaving the body, right? It's just not present. It's just not there. The body is still doing what it does, but you're not aware because you're not in tune, right? We got to get that mind in tune to the physical aspect of it, okay? And that's where education plays its role, okay? Because if you don't have the information, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna pay attention to it, okay? Changing sleeping patterns. Now, I told you guys, by working a job for 5 years, right? And because of my mental health meds, like there's a certain time in the evening that I have to take that mental health med where it doesn't extend over into the morning when I'm trying to wake up, but I can't because I still feel drowsy from the med. Not just learning, you know, when to take the med, how the med work, the side effects of the med, right? Also, I know that if I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, right, I got to punch that clock for 7, right? I had to go to bed by a certain time at night to get the amount of time my body required to properly function mentally and physically, right? So when you're on a schedule, right, for years, you're on this schedule, right? And now, because the event that these sleeping patterns were tied to, right, that event, it's gone. It's not there now. So now you find yourself staying up later at night, sleeping longer in the mornings, you know, the change. You know, things change. When one thing change, right, the ripple effect, it's going to cause a ripple effect, right? Staying up later, sleeping in later, not sleeping at all, sleeping too much. I told you guys, I went through a stage where I slept. You know, it was my form of escape. I could not, right? Again, when I cry, it's not always sad. This stuff is emotional. It wears on you. You know, it takes a toll on you, right? I'm not there anymore. I've done a lot of work on myself, right? But there was a time that I'd come home from work, right? I'd cry myself to sleep. I'd wake up crying. And, you know, just the eating stuff, you know, the racing thoughts. Like, the only way I found peace was to go to sleep. I didn't want to be awake. I didn't want to deal with it. So I slept. And I'm telling you guys, I'm showing you this, right? I'm being open to you. I'm being vulnerable. I'm showing you, right? For those who ain't there yet, right? And for those who don't know, you know, the ones who like to judge us because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know. They're not in your body. They're not in your mind. They don't know. We're going to move on, okay? What about the stomach issues, guys? Right? Because stress, changes in eating habits, sleeping habits, the anxiety, these things affect your digestive system, okay? You may start experiencing some change in bowel movement habits, right? Either going to the bathroom more often, like you get stuck on that toilet bowl. I've been there, guys. Like I said, 5 minutes before it was time for me to walk out that door to go to work, I had to go in the bathroom for 15 minutes. Like, my belly was like, oh no, we don't have control of this stuff. You cannot control it. It's your body. There's some things that's going on, right? You don't have time to sit on that toilet. You got to leave and go to work, right? How about your stomach being in knots? Cramped up, in pain, right? These are the signs and symptoms, right? The causes and the effects of having a mental health disease, right? Because the brain is attached to the body. And when the brain starts doing stuff, right, the body's going to react. Increase anxiety. You may find yourself in that fight or flight moment, right? But be still. Don't let that anxiety take hold of you and take control over you. Be still. Grab that pillow. Hold on tight. You got to hold on for the ride, right? Because some stuff is happening. You better sit yourself down and be still. Sit on your hands. Grab that pillow. If you have to go into that fetal position, right? Because it's going to pass, guys. It's going to pass. It's not going to stay. But you just got to hold on. You just got to hold on, okay? Again, right? With the anxiety, right? You have to remember, right? Your brain right now is in a delicate place. It's this is the time. There's some stuff going on, right? You may not be thinking clearly. Those harmful thoughts might be talking to you louder, like you're really hearing them now. Now, I'm not there yet, guys, because again, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I'm here to tell you guys it gets better. If you go, and get on the treatment plans, right, and you stick to it for years, right, these things, you get better at handling this stuff. I'm just telling you, where I've been, right, in case you're there for the first time and you don't know, right? With those harmful thoughts, right? This is where you have to practice reasoning with yourself. Very critical time, guys, okay? Reasoning with yourself, right? Telling yourself no. No. We're not doing that, right? You're reasoning with yourself. These thoughts are coming, right? You don't want them to take over. You got to fight. You better pay attention. When something happens in your mind, right, that tells you to harm yourself, you got to tell yourself no. No, we're not doing that. Remember, in this stage, right, you could actually cause more harm to yourself or others, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, right? So when you get those thoughts, right, you got to play them out. What would be the cause and effect, right? You got to play that stuff out. If I do this, how would it affect my circumstances or myself, right? And that stage may take some time. You may be in that stage for a minute, right? Because it's a journey. Your body is going places right now, right? You may have trouble focusing. You might become more forgetful than usual. You may start losing time. Remember I told you guys how I would zone out? When it got too much, I would check out, right? You may start being less organized, like losing things, right? You put something down, you can't remember where you put it. I'm laughing, but it is what it is, right? I'm telling you, I've done it. I've been there. I've been doing this for years, right? And I'm gonna tell you, as long as you stay in tune, right? You're still in that identifying, acknowledging stage, right? We haven't even got to addressing it, right? We're just identifying and acknowledging some stuff, okay? You have to wait for everything to start settling, because it is going to start right now. You're up here, right? You got to wait for that stuff to start simmering down, because it will. It may take some time, but believe me, if you hold on, right, and you can't run from it, you got to embrace it. You got to hold on, right? Eventually that stuff is going to start to simmer down, okay? Now, while all these things are going on, right, you still have to get stuff done, right? You have to start planning what your next move is going to be, right? Because you can't sit there. You cannot sit there. The world is going to continue to go on, right? You got to jump back in, right? At some point. Now, like I said, way back then, when you're in that the beginning stages, like, sit still for a minute, okay? It doesn't have to be done right now. It may take you a couple days, it may take you a week, but we're gonna get to that part, to that stage, right? So now you have to start planning your next move, right? What actions are you going to take to relieve the circumstances that just shifted, right? For me, applying for unemployment, right? I hate that system, which is why I've chose to work, right? It's just something about, and I'm not saying, that these safety nets in place are not good, right? Sometimes we have no choice, right? Oh, I hate that process, though. Freaking unemployment. Oh my God, right? But it is an option, okay? So before you start freaking out about the rent and the bills, right? Slow it down. Slow it down. We gonna get to some of the solutions of some of those things that's going to arise, okay? Finding another job, which should have been my first option, right? It is an option. You find another job. You lose a job, you get another one, right? But because I have been at the same job, right, for the past 5 years or so, right, and managing my mental health symptoms while trying to maintain this job, right, it has had an effect on me mentally, physically, emotionally, right? You're exhausted. You're tired. You had a 5-year stretch. It has not been easy, right? I may have to first address and manage my mental health state of mind before I jump into another job. I may have to give myself, even if it's like 2 or 3 days a week, I'm going to use my discretion with that. But yeah, I need to take some time to rest, to refocus, to prepare myself mentally for the task at hand, like jumping back into that world of fighting for my job. But it's an option. It keeps you from going into panic mode, right? You got to be able to focus. You got to be able to lay some stuff out, right? I have contacted my healthcare provider because something major is happening in my life. It's going to cause some effects to my mental health state of mind, right? So I have to call my provider. I have to let them know this is where I'm at, this is what's going on, so we can prepare, to get those safety nets in place, right? Now that I have lost my job, right? I now lose my health care benefits, right? There's going to be a lapse in my coverage, right? So I need to let my provider know these things, right? Because I'm going to tell you, when you have a mental health disease, right, you got to be in touch with them. If you don't stay in touch with them doctors, right, in order for them to keep providing you your mental health meds, right, they want to see you every so often. They need to know how these meds are working. Are you causing harm to yourself? There's some things they know. If you take your mental health serious, right, and you're now on treatment, right, you got to be in touch with them doctors. So my healthcare provider and I, we talked about, if I do decide to go the route through unemployment has choices for healthcare, like, I don't know, state care. She did mention like Medicaid. I don't know what that means. Yeah, you gotta talk to them doctors. They know some things. They know some things, right? So now would be the time, right, to set up a plan with your doctors as far as the continuation of your care and your treatment, right? Because when you have a mental health disease, right, and things are going on around you, right, this is a critical time for your well-being. It's a very critical time for your well-being. You cannot go long without your treatment. I mean, it's better to just not be off your treatment, right? There's some things those doctors can put in place. I remember I had some concern about, when I would lose a job and not have mental health coverage, right? How am I going to pay for my meds, right? And I had to tell my doctors, right? Certain mental health medications, right? You can't just stop cold turkey. You cannot do it. Like, they have to wean you off that stuff, right? My doctor was able to put in place with the pharmacist, right, that my meds would cost me $1. $1 for my meds, right? Because you cannot be off your meds. You cannot play with this stuff. It is very detrimental to your health, okay? I've also addressed with my healthcare provider. I told you guys there was a time that they were talking about pulling me out of work and putting me on Social Security disability, and I wasn't with it because I was like, But as much as I don't like that idea, I know that it is an option available to me, all right? And these are the things that's going to alleviate some of the anxiety, right, of the unknown. There's stuff going on. There's changes happening. Your livelihood. You got rent to pay, right? We don't want to get into that panic mode where we're off and running, right? We got to stay rooted, okay? So that's another option that I can go. I'm going to move faster, guys, because I don't want to keep you guys past time, okay? I also have some other financial barriers in place in case I need them, okay? While working in this job for the past 5 years, I have been putting some financial resources in place in case of an emergency. Like I said, I have been doing this, dealing with the cause and effects of having a mental health disease for decades. I have continued to educate myself through this process, through trial and error, through experience from the past. I have learned, like, I've gained some knowledge, right? And this knowledge has afforded me to be aware of the financial effects regarding cause and effects, right? Of losing jobs, or in between jobs, right? Which led me to put some financial things in place to help these changes less stressful, okay? And that's just for me, guys. We can readdress this stuff as we go, but right now I just need to give you this information. So we're going to keep moving because we're approaching that time, okay? This is what I mean by mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education, okay? It is why I stress the importance of education, because the more you know, it's going to add value to your life. So you should never, ever, ever stop learning and growing in those areas, guys. You got to keep pushing, right? With all this being said, there is also my books, okay? Like I said, I have one book published and another one already written and ready to go. With that being said, writing and getting a book published has opened up some other doors for me in relation to my career path. My higher power has led me to a whole nother world tied to many opportunities that I have never considered, but look forward to what's ahead of me now, giving me a new perspective on things. I am optimistic about the new changes to come. Although I am aware of the fact that these things take time, I work tirelessly in accomplishing new goals. I have never been where I am now in my life, learning new things, applying some things, and moving forward, approaching new things to produce more fruits from my labor. Although I still have to address the people who are going to talk, judge, and shame me, I know there are a lot of things beyond my control. I am now a woman in my 50s who has been battling my mental health disease for decades. I am now in a stage of my life where I have accepted and surrendered to it, okay? Because I spent a lot of years fighting, right? Fighting, denying, wounded. I was wounded when I found out I had a mental health disease. I mean, of course I was relieved because now I can start treating the stuff that was happening to me, right? I might start crying, guys. But when you realize that you have a mental health disease, right? It's like there's a part of you that's broken. It's broken, right? And it may never be fixed, right? But you can still have a healthy, meaningful, productive life, full of love. And when we're looking for love, right, you don't have to settle for them bullcrap relationships, right? I tell you, I'm a woman in my 50s. I've never been married. Sure, I've dated. We don't have to settle. Because the way people view us, people with mental health diseases, right, they tend to think we're stupid, right? We don't know what's going on, right? We could get down. We're going to get to that stuff, right? I'm here. We're going to get to that stuff. I've been down that road. I've been single for 2 years. It was a struggle. It was hard. But it's possible, okay? We're going to get down that road eventually, okay, guys? Hang on. Although I still have to address the people who are going to talk, judge, and shame me, I know that there are a lot of things beyond my control. I am a woman in my 50s who has been battling a mental health disease for decades. I am now in that stage of my life where I have accepted it and surrendered to it. Other people in my life may not be there yet, although I care about them and their opinions of me and my life. They need to realize that it is me who carry this burden. Okay? It's my burden to carry, not theirs. Okay? Because no matter how much people support you, love you, care for you, like, you are still responsible for your livelihood. You are still responsible for your well-being, okay? Although I appreciate the love, the concern, and the feedback, I have to listen to my higher power, okay? Because without him, there would be no me, right? And we talked about that, like how my higher power played a major, major, major role in my mental health wellness. So again, for those people out there who are battling a mental health disease, right? And you claim to have a higher power, you claim to have this person that's like looking over you, guiding you, protecting you, covering you, hiding you, shielding you, fighting for you. They got tools. You guys better read that stuff. I don't just say that I have a high power. I know my higher power. I've read the books that came with it. I study those books. So, there you have it, guys. Again, just, I'm sharing the journey. I'm open. I am in a healthier state of mind now than I was at the beginning. Because I was gonna say, like, even though I'm open to you guys, like, I would never like post those critical moments when I am at my breaking point, because it is pretty scary, right? And people do judge you, right? But just so you guys know, like, I've been there, I've done that. It gets better. You get better. I haven't had any real mental breaks in a long, long time, guys. Long, long time. And that doesn't mean that stuff didn't come up. Things didn't happen as far as your personal relationships, being single, dating, stress on the job. It's been stuff, guys. It's been stuff. But I've gotten better with how I respond to them. I don't react anymore. I don't take flight. Yeah. Well, guys, that's the end of this session. I don't think I'm going to do another session today. I think I'm going to take some time to, woosah, relax, I'm probably going to take a couple of days to try not to do nothing except the shows, of course, one show a day. But I mean, like I said, there's other things that I need to address, right? But I'm kind of still in that processing the information mode. Given my mind and my body time to process some stuff, get through some stuff, and prepare myself for the next steps to come. Okay? I hope that I helped someone. I hope that I help people to understand people with a mental health disease, the aspect of it, what's involved, our feelings behind it. You know, we're human, guys. We have feelings too. We have feelings. You know, I was born into this disease. No one chooses to have a mental health condition, right? But people who know me, they'll tell you I'm more stable than most people they know. And that's only because I've done the work, and it's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Again, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, any comments, leave me messages. It might take me a day or two, but I do respond to the comments, okay? Spread this information to family, friends, loved ones, anyone who may be struggling with a mental health disease. Let them know there is a place they can go, a person out here who is advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not a physician. I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am simply a woman in my 50s who have been dealing with a mental health disease most of her life. I am on treatment. I take medication. I've had to walk this journey with other family members who were struggling from a mental health disease while addressing my own mental health disease. So I have a lot of information. I have a lot of knowledge. You know, I'm here. I'm here to help in any way I can, right? We all have other diseases, whether it's the disease of addiction, childhood trauma. Like, this is about mental health wellness. Mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. We are strictly addressing the mental health concerns. Okay, guys? Have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you will come back. If you visit my YouTube channel, hit subscribe. Let me know that I am being heard, that you know, what I'm doing is important, right? It's important. This is, you know, this is what my higher power has been telling me to go for years, right? He's seen something in me I didn't see in myself, right? And God can always take, right? God can always take, right? The worst thing about you, right? And make it great, right? Make it great. Rise from your ashes. Find your gifts. Bye, guys.